What is going on, Summoners? We're back here today with another Champion Deep Dive. Today, we're talking about the Destroyer. So, sit back and relax, because it's time to get into it. The Destroyer enters the contest as a killing machine devoid of emotions. It is immune to Infuriate and Intimidate effects. Its magical, non-magnetic construct also grants immunity to bleed, poison, slow, and armor break effects. Additionally, it gains no benefit from the Willpower Mastery. Now, all of its attacks destroy any indestructible and immortality buffs on the opponent, replacing them with rubble buffs for 15 seconds. These buffs don't have an effect. They're just rubble. And when the opponent gains a buff while attacking its block, it destroys it and replaces it with rubble. Additionally, it gains an unstoppable passive when dashing towards the opponent. But if struck while dashing and unstoppable, this effect goes on cooldown for 15 seconds, or until the opponent gains 3 buffs. Also, while the opponent has an active buff, it gains a protection passive, reducing damage taken by 5% for each buff on the opponent, to a max of 5. Now, the Destroyer gains destruction charges in different ways throughout the fight. It gains 2 charges when immune to an armor break effect. This also happens when the opponent gains a buff, or fails to gain a buff due to buff immunity. But gaining charges from buff immunity can only trigger once every 1.5 seconds. It gains 5 charges when intercepting the opponent and when punishing a heavy or special attack. But it loses 1 when inflicted with a non-damaging debuff other than stun. Additionally, every 25 charges, the Destroyer gains a Fury passive for 15 seconds. These max out at 4 stacks and are refreshed when the opponent is knocked down. Upon reaching 100 charges, it consumes them to gain a power gain passive, granting 4 bars of power over 10 seconds. And while this is active, it can't gain new charges. Now, let's check out its special attacks. On each hit of the special 1, it gains 10 destruction charges unless the opponent dodges the attack with a dexterity mastery or dex replacement. While defending, it gains 15 instead. Additionally, the final hit is passively unblockable and inflicts a non-stacking 75% potency Hinder debuff for 20 seconds. Hinder reduces the potency of all newly created buffs by the given potency. And if the opponent is against the wall, all hits are unblockable. With the special 2, the final hit deals a burst of direct damage, but its potency is increased by 200% if the opponent is suffering from degen. The first hit also pauses any degen effects for 10 seconds. And the final 3 hits are passively unblockable. The Special 3! At the end of this attack, the Destroyer inflicts a degen passive, dealing direct damage over 10 seconds. It also gains an unblockable buff for 6 seconds, and a non-stacking 20% energize passive for 10 seconds. This is paused during the Destroyer's special attacks, and while it's active, its Special 3 cannot be activated, and its Special 1 and 2 grant no power. Now, let's check out its signature ability. When awakened, the Destroyer's personal power gain pauses while at 3 bars of power. And while any power gain effect is active, the damage on its Special 3 is increased by up to 50%. Additionally, its protection passive potency is increased by a flat plus 5% per buff. And when struck, it inflicts an instant rupture, dealing up to 40% of the damage prevented by personal protection as physical damage. This rupture also destroys any indestructible or immortality buff on the opponent. Now, let's take it out for a spin in the champion rotation. To begin, focus on building your destruction charges by intercepting the opponent and punishing their heavy and special attacks. You'll also gain charges whenever the opponent gains a buff. You could use your special 1 to gain even more charges and refresh your furies by knocking down the opponent. And once you reach 100 charges, you'll gain a power gain passive, granting you 4 bars of power. From here, use your special 3 to inflict your degen passive, then let your power gain continue and launch a monstrous special 2. And if the opponent isn't already knocked out, take advantage of your energize passive to do it again until they are. Now, in a shorter fight, build your charges in the same way, and don't forget, you can destroy any indestructible buffs on the opponent and turn them into rubble. So just keep this rolling until you reach 100 charges. But this time, just launch your special 2 before reaching special 3. And remember, the final 3 hits are unblockable, so don't be afraid to let it rip. Thank you for watching this champion deep dive for the Destroyer. And hey, if you liked the video and want to see more, click subscribe, like, comment, and share. And remember, we'll see you in the Battle Realm!